Welcome to alcoholmastery.com. My name is Kevin O'Hara. Now, if you've come to this video because you've already watched the 5 life-altering changes that can happen to you when you stop drinking alcohol, here's another 3 as I promised, right? The first one is going to be better health, right? Now, when I'm talking about health, I'm not just talking about some random shit that's going to happen when you stop drinking alcohol, right? You're going to feel better about yourself. I'm talking about your long-term health, right? How you feel, not only today, but in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 50 years' time, right? When you're talking about health, we always think about things in terms of longevity, right? How long this body that you're residing in at the moment is going to last, right? How many more years you've got left to live, right? But at the end of the day, does it matter how many more years you've got left to live, right? If the body that you're in is just being held alive, right? It's just being kept alive by a life machine. What do they call those things? Where they have the shit plugged into your ear, and you've got the mask over here, and you've got something shoved up your arse and something else shoved up the rest of it. You know, that's keeping you alive, right? You know, what does it matter if you're living longer if you can't walk, right? Because your legs have been cut off because you've had this happen to you. What happens if you're on a dialysis machine because your kidneys are fucked up? You know, what happens if you're on the last stages of liver disease, right? And your liver's not functioning anymore, right? And you're stinking like you know, because of all the toxins that are coming out through your system. So there's longevity, and then there's quality of life. What you should be aiming at is quality of life, which will give you that longevity, right? Which will give you the quantity of life as well, right? If you have a good quality of life, and I'm not talking about being able to relax and chill out in front of the pool and drink your daiquiris. I'm talking about feeling good about yourself, right? Feeling like you're alive, right? Feeling like you are motivated to get up day after day after day and pursue the goals that you want to do when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60, when you're 90, right? You're still getting up when you're 90 and you're thinking, I'm alive. I'm going to go out today, I'm going to climb a mountain. I'm going to go out today, I'm going to cycle up the road here and around there and back, you know. I'm going to do this with my life, I'm going to do that with my life. This is what I'm talking about, right? Getting up every day and thinking that you're fully functioning, you're fully alive. Feeling that what you're eating is good for you, what you're drinking is good for you, right? And just feeling that whole contentment of life, right? I think that you can have a contented life where it's just like, that's the type of life that I want to have anyway. Number 2 is more control. When you drink, you give away your control to, not to the alcohol, but to your bad behavior. Excuse me, I've got to have a drink. This is chamomile tea, by the way. This is one of my go-to drinks now. It's freezing cold, but it's a nice warm day, so this is what I'm drinking. You give away so much of your control because of that dependence, like I was talking about in the last video. You know, once you're dependent on something, you're addicted to a substance. You're addicted to doing something, whether it's you're addicted to a certain amount of thoughts that are going through your head. You can't, you know, you often see people that are addicted to you know, doing a certain ritual before they do something else, you know, and it's like, they're simple addictions, but you know, when you've got a dependence like alcohol or cigarettes or fast food or one of those things which is destructive at the same time as it's taking up your precious time, then it just takes out your levels of control in huge big swathes. You know, it just gets in there, grabs it and pulls it out, right? And that's one level of control that you haven't got anymore. So when you stop drinking, you get all that control back. You no longer need alcohol to relax, to socialize, to sleep, right? You no longer need alcohol to commemorate something, to celebrate something. You no longer need alcohol just because somebody else is fucking drinking the shit, you know what I mean? And this is what we base our lives around, is they're doing it, so I must do it. When you're young, it's easy to do that. When you get older, you start to think about these things more and more and more, and that's when you know, it's when the switches start to flick in your mind. So when you do quit, you gather that control back, hand over fist, you know, in much larger ways than I ever thought was possible. You know, it's when I quit, it was to try and be a better father, to be healthier. I never realized how much control I'd actually given away, you know, to this alcohol thing. And number three, the final thing, this is a bit of an out there concept, but it's called self-actualization. And it means you being the best possible version of yourself. Now, when you are taking a drug, I don't give a shit what you say, right? You can never be the best possible version of yourself because you are always dampening down certain parts in order to try and heighten up other parts, right? You know, you hear people talking about taking mushrooms or LSD and stuff, and they're trying to get experiences, you know. Why? You know, we live in, you know, all politics and bullshit aside, right? We live in a beautiful world. You know, there's pollution, there's shit happening, but it's still there. It's still like the world is still saying fuck you, you know. I'm still beautiful. I've got beautiful mountains, I've got beautiful seas, I've got beautiful stuff that you know, every human being can do, right? You as a person are in the same category, right? You're a living, breathing organism that is capable of so much, right? Of doing so much good for other people and for yourself, right? Of being a self-actualized person, which is getting to that stage where you are the best possible version of yourself. Now, who decides that? You do. You know, who decides what that best possible version is? You do. But you're never going to get there unless you stop doing this shit to yourself. Stop poisoning yourself, right? Stop poisoning your body, your mind, and your life, right? You're poisoning your body physically, you're poisoning your mind because, you know, this shit is taking over control of your life, and you're destroying your mind because the actions and the alcohol is the action of the alcohol in your life is just. Now, when you drink alcohol, your body is poisoned. You're physically poisoned by this stuff, right? When you drink alcohol, your mind is poisoned, right? Physically poisoned, but the thoughts that come out of it are also poisoned. They're defective, you know. You're handicapping that part of yourself, and it means that outside of yourself, you're handicapping your life. You know, the opportunities that are available to you are no longer there, or at least they're not there in the degree that they should be, you know. So the possibilities of you becoming the best possible version of yourself are completely diminished the more you do this, right? The more you drink alcohol. So that's it. That's another three of the good things that can happen to you once you stop drinking alcohol. I hope you enjoyed this. If you haven't signed up for our Alcohol Mastery Starter Pack yet, go over to the homepage, or you'll just see it over here on in the sidebar. Leave your name and email address. There's a few videos in there that will help you out if you want to quit drinking alcohol. They just make things a whole lot easier for you. Mostly works on your brain, but that's where most of the hard work is going to be done, inside your head. If you can get your head around some of these mindsets, some of these perspectives, you'll find that your journey is going to be a whole lot easier. So until next time, take care of yourself. I'm Kevin O'Hara for Alcohol Mastery, where you are now. Onwards and upwards. Take care. Keep the alcohol out of your mouth, by the way. Take care. Bye bye now.